Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bhakti Fundamentals. In today's short video, we'll explore a simple yet elucidating analogy that helps us understand how we, as spiritual beings, become conditioned by material nature. And this analogy, given by Srila Bhaktivinode Thakur, one of the great Acaryas or spiritual teachers in our Bhakti tradition, compares our material conditioning to the transformation of water into ice. Just as water changes when exposed to freezing temperatures, our consciousness also takes on different material qualities when exposed to material nature. Understanding this can help us see how we are shaped by our surroundings, and more importantly, how we can uncover the self, the actual us, the soul, and subsequently act from that spiritual platform of understanding. In its natural state, water is fluid, free-flowing, and clear. However, when the temperature drops to 32 degrees Fahrenheit, it freezes and becomes solid ice. At this point, what was once liquid water no longer flows freely. It becomes rigid and limited in movement. But this frozen state is not its true nature. It's simply a temporary condition caused by external influences. As soon as the temperature rises, the ice melts, returning to its original natural state as fluid water. Similarly, we are not these material bodies. We are eternal spiritual beings. Each of us is an individual soul or jiva, temporarily inhabiting a material body. However, due to our contact with material nature, which is made up of three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, we become influenced by material conditions and start to identify with our body and our mind rather than with what we actually are. Spirit. Just as water loses its fluidity and takes on a new rigid form, we too forget our original spiritual nature and adopt temporary material identities, icy material identities, if you will. And under the cover of these icy material identities, we then exhibit various material qualities associated with the different modes of nature. The three basic qualities of material nature are goodness, sattva-guna, passion, rajo-guna, and ignorance, tamo-guna. When acting more under the mode of goodness, sattva-guna, we might exhibit qualities such as peacefulness, compassion, and self-discipline. When acting more under the mode of passion, rajo-guna, we might exhibit qualities of restlessness, material ambition, intense material desires or craving, attachment to the results of our activities, and competitiveness. And when acting more under the mode of ignorance, tamo-guna, we might exhibit qualities of inertia or laziness, confusion, dullness, and intoxication. However, in reality, we are rarely under the influence of just one mode at any given time. These three modes can be compared to the three primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. And just as the primary colors can be mixed in countless ways to create a vast array of shades and hues, the three qualities or modes of material nature interact and blend in various combinations, shaping the entire spectrum of material experiences and material conditioning that we encounter in this material world. Thus, our behaviors, thoughts, emotions, and actions are shaped by a complex interplay of all three modes of nature, with one or more predominating in different situations. While we gave only a few examples of how the three material modes manifest in our behavior, the ways in which they influence our lives are vast and varied. The point to take away for our purposes today is that just as water can freeze into ice when exposed to the correct material conditions, our consciousness becomes materially conditioned when we are exposed to matter, causing us to forget our true spiritual nature. Importantly, however, this does not mean that we are material beings. It just means that we've temporarily misidentified ourselves with matter. Under the right conditions, we can resume our natural water state. We can peel back the layers of our material conditioning to reveal our spiritual nature once again. Indeed, we are each individual eternal souls who have a unique personal relationship with the Supreme, who is revealed in the Bhagavad Gita to be Krishna, a name meaning all attractive. The relationship that we have with the Supreme has always existed. It only needs to be uncovered. Just as ice requires material warmth in order to regain its natural state, we require a spiritual process to melt or dissolve our material conditioning and to become self-realized. And that spiritual process we need is Bhakti Yoga. By engaging in the spiritual practices of Bhakti Yoga, we gradually dissolve our false identification with the temporary material world and restore our original pure consciousness. The potent spiritual practices of Bhakti Yoga enable us to realize ourself, as well as the Supreme, or Krishna, and our eternal relationship with Krishna. Through regular engagement in devotional activities, we generate the necessary spiritual warmth to melt the icy grip of our acquired material conditioning and free ourselves from the material misconceptions that keep us bound to the material world. And according to the Shastra, or scriptures, the most powerful method of spiritual purification in this day and age, which is the age of Kali, or the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, is the chanting of the Maha Mantra. The Maha Mantra is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And this mantra is comprised of the purifying names of the Supreme. It's a spiritual sound vibration. It's not an ordinary or mundane combination of words. And according to the scriptures, Krishna and his name are identical. This means that when we chant the Maha Mantra, we are not just reciting material words. Rather, we are directly associating with Krishna, the Supreme himself. Just as being in the presence of fire provides us with warmth, being in the presence of Krishna through his holy names purifies and transforms our consciousness. For just as a dusty mirror cannot reflect light clearly, our true spiritual identity is covered by layers of material conditioning. Chanting the names of the Supreme in the form of the Maha Mantra on screen gradually removes these layers of our material conditioning, allowing our pure self to shine through. The Maha Mantra is not limited to any one religion, culture, or nationality. It transcends material labels and material conditions. Thus, chanting the Maha Mantra is a universal process that directly engages the soul, allowing anyone, regardless of their material condition of life, to experience its transformative effects. When we begin chanting it, we initiate the process of gradually melting away the layers of material conditioning that are just now covering our true self. As this material conditioning dissolves, our original eternal consciousness is also gradually revived, a state in which we clearly recognize our true spiritual identity and perceive Krishna as the Supreme, and reawaken our eternal relationship with Krishna. With this renewed spiritual awareness, we are then empowered to act upon our eternal relationship with Krishna in the here and now by engaging in his devotional service or bhakti yoga. And in this way, we can remain spiritually warm and blissful, even in an icy material world. So that's all we have for today on this analogy of water and ice in relation to spiritual versus material consciousness. Let us know if it resonated with you, and if you have any follow-up questions for us, we're here to answer any and all questions that you might have. You can email us anytime at bhaktifundamentals@gmail.com. We look forward to hearing from you. In the meantime, thank you for listening to us today, and we'll see you next time on Bhakti Fundamentals.